Welcome to Cocktails in the War Room, everybody. Welcome to the War Room. I am your host, Mistress Carrie. Welcome to episode 287 of Cocktails in the War Room. And if you are joining us, whether it be on Facebook or Twitch, on Instagram, or on my YouTube channel, and it's your first time joining me in the War Room, first of all, welcome. Second of all, welcome to the War Room, the room in my house where all of my military memorabilia is, where all of my family's military memorabilia is, everything I brought back from my trips to Iraq and Afghanistan, and it's where the bar is, which is how we ended up in here starting on March 14th of 2020 at the beginning of the pandemic. We sat here for 80 nights in a row during the lockdown, and then we turned Cocktails in the War Room into a weekly show when we launched the Mistress Carrie podcast. And for anybody that is new, we need you to let us know it's your first time by chiming in the comments, letting us know it's your first time and where you're watching from so that the War Room family, as they have nicknamed themselves, can welcome you properly. And if you're new to the War Room, allow me to introduce you to my co-host. This is Wednesday. Happy belated National Dog Day Wednesday. That's where you can find her on Instagram at Wednesday the Goth Pug. And, she hangs out with us on the green couch here in the War Room every week, begging for cookies, being cute. And then when the cookies are gone, she usually leaves unless you guys bribe her to come back when we do mail call later on in the show. Can I have your paw, please? Thank you. Can I have the other paw? Can you get down? Down, down, nicely. Good girl. So yes, if you say have a pet that has their own Instagram and you would like your pet to follow Wednesday, that would be wonderful. Or you can just follow Wednesday for all of her cuteness as well. So gotta say hi to a lot of people checking in already in the comments. Elsa and Bish, Jonathan and Jessica, Denise and Carol, Dave, first time watch for me, watching from Coventry, Rhode Island. What's up, Dave? Did you guys hear about the Rhode Island cop that peed on the girl at Gillette Stadium over the weekend? Did you hear about that? She's like, he ruined a $180 pair of cowgirl boots. They smell like pee. He was a Rhode Island cop, wasted, obviously. And she was standing there watching the show, and then she felt her legs like all warm and wet, and it was in her boots. The guy got arrested, charged with, drunken disorderly or, whatever it was, but it hit the news today. So I'm sure it wasn't you chiming in on Instagram. I can't believe it's been so long since this started. I love it, says Mangson on Instagram. If you're on Instagram, I see your handle, not your name. If you're on Facebook, I see your actual name. So if you're on Johnny Costco joining us on Instagram. What's up, John? Let's see. Dina is here. Lisa and Jonathan, Alicia joining us on Facebook as well. Hello, Christine and Tom. Cheers from Franklin, says Marlon. Seems that Sum 41's Derek Whibley is the new singer of Linkin Park. Jessica, he already came out and said that was not the case. He does have a book coming out, and he's going on a book tour. And one of the stops is actually going to be in Boston. But Derek Whibley from Sum 41 already came out and said, unless he's lying, because the Linkin Park countdown on their website is counting down 100 hours. It stops tomorrow. And rumor has it that they're going to announce one of a few things. It could be more music out of the Linkin Park vaults. It could be that they are going to announce a singer that is going to allow the guys in Linkin Park to be able to perform live. And it could also be all of the plans to celebrate their 25th anniversary next year, including some rumored festival appearances at like 5 of the biggest rock festivals, including Welcome to Rockville, Coachella. If Linkin Park gets back together, they're going to headline all the big festivals next year. And Danny Wimmer Presents, Live Nation, Down are going to back the Brinks truck up to get Linkin Park to do that. And you can't really blame the Linkin Park guys because it's their anniversary too. 25 years of the date since Hybrid Theory came out. that qualifies them for induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It also technically makes Linkin Park's Hybrid Theory, by definition, classic rock, which is kind of crazy. So we're going to find out what's going on with Linkin Park tomorrow. I had always wished that if they were going to get back together and not do it in a way like Alice in Chains or Stone Temple Pilots or AC/DC did, where they name a brand new singer and carry on with the band. If they want to do an anniversary thing and that's the extent of what they want to do as a band, I was kind of hoping that they would put together lead singers that they were friends with, like Amy Lee from Evanescence or David Draymond from Disturbed, singers that were friends with Chester, and have it be like a Linkin Park and Friends tribute to the music of Linkin Park and Chester Bennington, and be able to do it that way and let each individual singer sing a few of the songs. Stop being fresh. The cookies are gone. But I don't know if that's going to happen because logistically that's really hard to put together if you're going to do a bunch of festivals or try and tour, because you've got the schedule of all of those other singers as well. So, hey, Head from Korn is joining us here on Cocktails in the War Room, watching on Instagram. What's up, Head? You're going to be in Boston soon. I told you I was going to hit you up about the Massachusetts show. That's going to happen. And I would love, by the way, to get you as a guest on the War Room someday so that we could talk about all of your outreach that you do and your facility and all of that stuff. So, Head, I would love to have you, instead of Wednesday being in the other bubble, no offense, Wednesday, having Head from Korn here in the War Room would be pretty awesome. Donna says, sorry, I'm late. Shane says, no matter who it is, people are going to bitch about it. And that's the thing, Shane. I don't think real fans should be bitching about the remaining members of Linkin Park wanting to celebrate their legacy. Obviously, no one is ever going to replace Chester Bennington. They know that. We all know that. But faulting a band for wanting to celebrate their legacy and their earned place in music, obviously everyone would prefer that Chester be here, but he can't be here. And so I think anyone that badmouths Linkin Park with whatever they've chosen to do to celebrate their own anniversary and to celebrate the music that they all helped create. Linkin Park wasn't Chester's band. It was all of their band, and they have been mourning for years over his loss. And so I'm sure that they are anticipating some negative feedback tomorrow. I just hope that that's not going to be the case, because in my opinion, Linkin Park have handled Chester's passing and the celebration of his life and the art that he made in a way that probably most of us wouldn't have been able to handle. Like the grace, the class, facing such a devastating situation, losing Chester so tragically, so unexpectedly, that I really hope whatever their announcement is, they may be announcing that they're just going to release some stuff out of the archives and that they're not going to play live and that they're not going to do shows. But I hope they do, because I think they, unlike the Foo Fighters tribute to Taylor Hawkins, I don't think that the band and the fans have had a chance to kind of really pay tribute. And I think a 25th anniversary is the perfect time to do it. So I am anxiously awaiting however those guys choose to celebrate their legacy. I hope it's something that I'm going to be able to see in person. I mean, the Oasis guys reunited today and made the announcement, which was like the worst kept secret in rock and roll, because people have been talking about the possibility of this happening for years now. And the vitriol between the Gallagher brothers has been ratcheted down slowly over like the last year or so. And I've always said that, look, bands break up all the time. I totally get it. How many times have we seen a band break up? The singer goes and does something else. The rest of the band goes and does something else. Neither one of those projects are as successful as the main project that they were in originally. And then they find a way to kind of put whatever animosity they had aside and realize that they are better together. financially better together, mentally better together, whatever it is. And bands always seem to find a way to get back together. And so I knew that Oasis would eventually do this unless one of them died. And thankfully, that's not the case. And it's just a matter, I think, when someone's writing a check, how many zeros and how many commas are in the number. Because look, we can all admit that we hate people. There's people in my own family that I despise and refuse to speak to. But I can't tell you that there is not a dollar amount that would make me hug them at Christmas. It just is the way that it is. So I'm happy for Oasis fans that get to celebrate their 30th anniversary this year, which is why they're re-releasing Definitely Maybe on Friday to celebrate its 30th anniversary. And so this is a big week. We got the announcement about Oasis today. We're getting the announcement, whatever it's going to be with Linkin Park tomorrow. This is a big week. Brian Cunningham showing up on Facebook. What's up, Brian? Betty says Chester is here in spirit. He absolutely is. I mean, I think when Hybrid Theory first came out, there was a vocal group of people that, thought they were like the heavy metal NSYNC kind of thing. And I think with any generation, with any type of music, the generation before is like, oh, are they going to be around in 25 years? I remember when the grunge bands hit. And, older brothers, sisters, uncles were like, oh, what do they think? They're going to be the Led Zeppelin of their generation? Well, yeah, they are. They are. And time has proven that to be true. And I think when the late 90s and early 2000s hit, there were a lot of people using nu metal, the nu metal era, as a punching bag, and didn't think it would last. And that era came and went. But the staying power of the artists and the music, Korn celebrating their 30th anniversary this year, Slipknot celebrating their 25th, those bands have proven that the art they made was valid, relevant, was worth something, and more importantly than anything else, to the fans, that it means something. And so for these bands, Disturbed to still be around, Sevendust still around, Deftones still around, all of those Stained back together with a new album after 12 years, Papa Roach celebrating their 25th anniversary next year, arguably bigger than they've ever been. These bands, that generation of music has proven itself to have staying power, that it meant something to the audience, that it impacted all aspects of pop culture, whether it be fashion or movies or music. And this is a really exciting time in music because the bands that grew up worshiping Korn, Deftones, Disturbed, Linkin Park, Slipknot, those bands are now making their first or second album, and they are now selling out the clubs that Linkin Park sold out 25 years ago. And I would hug A-Rod for the right price, says Brett. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. The Gallagher brothers have said horrible things about each other since 2009 when they broke up, and they're back together because they found a way to get over it. The Robinson brothers put the Black Crowes back together, not the original lineup, but the fact that the Robinson brothers are getting up on stage together every night shows that it's possible. And I've talked about it on the show before, like with the DeLeo brothers and Stone Temple Pilots, that if you're going to have a band, I talked about it last week with Scott Anderson from Finger 11, his brother's in the band. And it's a risky thing because if things go bad, it's not just things being bad at work, that now things are bad at Christmas. Things are bad for your mom and dad's anniversary and when you're at grandma's house. And that has got to be really hard to try and travel together when you grew up together, especially if one is the lead singer and one's not, because there is that perceived disparity about control over the band. I mean, look at, what's going to happen with Linkin Park. Because Chester was the lead singer, I think there's a lot of people that think that Linkin Park was his band. And if you look at the songwriting credits of Linkin Park songs, if you talk to the other members of the band, They were a creative collective. Mike Shinoda is just as much in charge of Linkin Park as Chester was. It's just that Chester was, in a lot of ways considered the face of Linkin Park. And so when it comes to siblings, it's a whole other thing altogether. So the fact that Oasis has built a bridge and gotten over it, there are only a couple examples of artists that I think the money doesn't matter. And I'm talking billion-dollar paycheck, and they've said no. And there's two that I can think of off the top of my head. Can you guess who they are? Pink Floyd and ABBA. ABBA was offered $1 billion to go out on tour, and they didn't do it. Their hologram show, ABBA Voyage, makes $6 million a week, which is why Kiss invested $200 million into the avatars that are going to debut on stage in 2027. But they didn't get back together and tour, and they, I guess, kind of get along, but they just didn't want to do it. So it is possible, I guess, to have so much money that you can still say no. But I have a feeling that the Gallagher brothers could probably use the money. Now, the Oasis reunion, so far they've only announced the UK dates and they've only announced the Ireland dates. But Alternative Nation printed a list of Canadian dates, American dates, and a date in Mexico City. And Boston was one of like 6 shows in the United States, according to this leaked memo about Oasis dates, which also had the UK and Ireland dates on it. And that part turned out to be true. So if Oasis ends up, if it is true, the list of rumored shows in North America and in Mexico, September 2nd in Boston would be the Oasis date, according to the dates that leaked on Alternative Nation yesterday. Brett Feldman says Alex Van Halen, his 384-page memoir, Brothers, comes out October 22nd. Alex Van Halen has been very quiet. And I think Alex Van Halen has been waiting a long time to be able to control his narrative, to be able to tell his story. Sammy Hagar theorized a few weeks ago in the press that he thinks that's why Alex never even called him back to be part of the Best of All Worlds tour. And because he knew that he had the memoir coming out. Now, the audiobook version of the memoir is going to contain the song Unfinished, which is the last piece of music Simon & Schuster, the publishers, said that Alex worked on with his brother Eddie before Eddie Van Halen passed away. So that's going to be really interesting. 384 pages is a lot of information, and it's not going to all be about their childhood. I think Alex is at the point where he's already sold most of his musical gear publicly in auctions. I think that he's done with music, and I think he is looking at this memoir as being able to control his own narrative, to be able to tell his own story, and to be able to make his own money. And I'll be very curious to see how much shit talking Alex Van Halen does in this book. Trina says, I will go on tour for that kind of money. Trina, I would put the satin bell bottoms on and sing ABBA songs all night long. On tour, embarrass myself on the world stage for $1 billion. Yeah. Insane. Sean Curtis says, are they finally getting along? If you're talking about Oasis, I don't know. I mean, they took pictures together. They released a joint statement together. Are they going to tour on the same tour bus? Probably not. Are they going to fly on the same private jet? Who knows? But there are so many people, and I think we're seeing it with Pantera and the celebration of Pantera, that there are generations of music fans that have never had the opportunity to see Oasis. And I think that for a band like Oasis that's celebrating a massive anniversary like their 30th, to want to be able to celebrate their place in music and to be able to make the money too, because I think, it's hard to turn down that kind of money. So yeah. Ryan says, I'm waiting for the Hanson reunion. I'm going to bop like no one's ever bopped before. Have you seen pictures of the Hanson brothers? They're like all married. Like we remember them as like little kids, but they're not little kids. And they write a lot of music. And from what I've heard, they write a lot of music for other artists. So the talent was there. I think like the Jonas Brothers too. Like there was obviously talent there. So Eric says, I'm still waiting for the Wiggles to reunite. Fruit salad is my jam. Toy Gun 81 on Instagram says, I miss you on WAF. Yeah, there's always people that chime in on Instagram or whatever when we're doing Cocktails in the War Room that say that. And all I can say is thank you. I miss it too. I can't believe it's been 4.5 years. But if you were not aware of all of the other places that you can find me, stick around in the War Room because I'm going to tell you about the podcast. I'm going to tell you about all the places you can listen to me on the radio, tell you where you can find me online. So I haven't left you. Things are just a little bit different. That's all. What's up, Mr. Cole? Yes, Slayer, I think, is another band that's starting to realize that maybe they called it quits a little too early. So I grew up with you and Danielle and Shu and Greg Hill. Now you're making me feel old on Instagram. You're killing me. But that, when you guys tell me stuff like that, I love that stuff that you allowed us to be part of so many formative years of your life, so many memories, memories about the music that you love, that you associate with us because you remember hearing that band or that song for the first time when we played it for you. And when I see that stuff on social media, it makes me so happy. Oh my God, Melissa McMahon, the leg lamp picture. I meant to put it in here today and I forgot. I will put the picture in the War Room next week. But if you guys haven't seen it, she went to the leg lamp museum, like the Christmas Story leg lamp, and wore her Mistress Carrie gear and took epic photos, Melissa. Like, I didn't even know that leg lamp was a thing. It is. So I'm going to put the picture in the War Room next week. Let's see. So many memories. Thank you. Let's see. All these old bands maybe run out of money and need to come back and do this stuff to stay relevant and make money. Well, Sean, here's the thing, right? Let me pose this question to you. If you, at 23 years old, with a bunch of friends, wrote an album or a couple albums or a few albums and toured the world and made a bunch of money, I don't know very many people in their early to mid 20s that could financially be responsible enough to plan out the rest of their lives. And you probably partied and bought some crazy cars and a house and took care of your mom and bought her a house. And then all of a sudden, maybe the music you make is not what is in fashion anymore. And you got used to living in a way because you thought, because you're young and naive, that the money that you were making was never going to stop coming in. Imagine, like, what are these bands supposed to do? Like, what are the Gallagher brothers? And I'm sure that they have enough money that they don't need to work. But like, let's use an example of like a band that has like 1 or 2 hits or had 1 or 2 big albums. Like, what are they supposed to do? Like, go get like a job delivering packages at Amazon? And I'm not slighting being a delivery driver for Amazon. Don't get me wrong. What I'm saying is people following you, taking your picture, recognizing you, putting it up on social media and going, oh, how the mighty have fallen. Oh, look at what happened to this guy. You know, look at where he is. They heckle you and harass you when you're just trying to live your life. You guys remember the actress Bridget Fonda, who was incredibly famous, came from a legacy Hollywood family. She was beautiful. She had an unbelievable career. And she just decided, you know what? This sucks. I don't want to do this anymore. I want to just be a regular person. I want to have kids. I want to have a house. I want to do whatever. I just want to live. And she started living like a regular person. She stopped, focusing all of her time on her appearance And so she doesn't look like a Hollywood actress anymore. She looks like a regular mom, like everyone else. And just the other day, she was at the airport, I think dropping off her son, and TMZ was taking her picture. And the comments were horrible. Like, oh, how the mighty have fallen. Look at how fat she is, blah, blah, blah. Because she was once famous. It's not like that goes away. And so I can imagine how hard it would be for people that have had success in the music business to completely change gears and to have that fame be left in the rear view. And so I don't fault them for wanting to celebrate their legacy and their music and get back together and make some money. And look at the athletes in the old days, right? Where there was no, shoe deals and endorsement deals and they got paid shit money. All those Motown artists barely got paid anything and don't own their own masters. And so there are a lot of artists that were popular 40 years ago, 30 years ago that did not get to cash in now, or then the way that bands do now. Bands that are getting, money from their YouTube channels and their TikTok and the merch money that they can make and having their songs get picked up by sync licenses for movie soundtracks and commercials and all of that stuff. So I kind of, look, if I wrote one hit song in my life and I could continue to make money off of that hit song, bet your ass I'd be doing it. Which is part of the reason why when people bring up WAF, I'm always quick to say, thank you. I miss it too. But let me tell you what else I'm doing, because I never wanted it to be perceived that I was just trying to live off what I had done in my past, that I was trying to move forward in my life and career and to be able to chart a new territory. So, yeah, I think, let these bands do what they want. You have the ability to buy a ticket or not, to stream the music or not, to buy a t-shirt or not. I'm really hoping that the Oasis reunion is going to be amazing. I'm really hoping this Linkin Park celebration in whatever it is going to be amazing. Melissa says paparazzi are horrible, hate them. Yeah, and it's hard because, the paparazzi wouldn't do it if there wasn't an appetite for what they do. And that's the hard part. That's been the legal battle in England with the paparazzi, which the laws are obviously a lot different over there. Lawsuits have been filed. The paparazzi over there, we all grew up watching what happened with Princess Diana and have heard about, how bad it is after the fact. And the Beatles thought they had it rough, right? They didn't know anything compared to how crazy the paparazzi can be. Trina says they killed Princess Diana. I would not want cameras parked outside my home 24/7. Yeah, it's for the fame and the money. There is a certain amount of anonymity and freedom and privacy that not only do you give it up, but anybody that's in your life has to give it up too. I think, if you what is Taylor Swift's mom supposed to do? Be a secretary and go to work? She'd have people following her 24/7. So it's not even possible for Taylor's family to have a normal life because she's so famous that it would be difficult for them. And so, I think people in Hollywood or people in the entertainment industry that marry civilians, as they call them, people that are not in the business, they are very, very quick to try and protect their privacy because they're aware that giving up a certain amount of that privacy was their decision, but it wasn't their kid's decision. It wasn't their spouse's decision. So, yeah, it's a lot. And the reverse of it is you get to make all that money. So Heidi says, Carrie, do you have a copy of your last hours at AAF? I have the copies. A lot of it's up on YouTube that other people recorded off the radio and put it up on YouTube, but I have not been able to listen to it. It's been 4.5 years. I'm still not ready. So Will wants to know, anybody going to see Zombie and Alice Cooper next month? I'm hoping to be there. Let's see. Yeah, Eric says, imagine how Taylor Swift feels. Yeah, now the thing is, when you have Taylor Swift money, you can afford the buffer that you need to be able to insulate yourself from the danger of that kind of fame, from, whatever it is. But especially Taylor, I think, her dating life has been the punchline for years. But, guys, correct me if I'm wrong. There are not a lot of guys that could handle being Taylor Swift's boyfriend. That's hard. I think Travis Kelce's doing a pretty bang up job of it, but he's successful in his own right. And he is, or at least seems, I don't know these people, but seems to be super respectful of her place, her career, her platform. He supports her in every way and doesn't really, it's not possible for him to be emasculated being Taylor Swift's boyfriend. Like, it's not possible. But I think it's a little bit harder for female celebrities trying to keep a private life private when with a husband or, kids or whatever. There are a lot of Hollywood actors that have, wives that are private, kids that are able to be kept private. But I guess it's just all in how you handle all of that stuff. Let's see. How's your mom? Mom is okay. Mom is okay. Mom, nothing's changed really. She hasn't gotten worse. She hasn't gotten better. So I appreciate you guys asking. Justin Bieber is a dad, Jessica. Yep. Mama Kelce raised 2 wonderful sons. Yeah, like I wouldn't mind having some beers with the Kelce boys. Like I think and Jason Kelce's wife, like I want to party with her. Like she seems like someone that her and I would be BFFs if we knew each other. Like I like the way she handles everything. When somebody was like looking at her husband, she's like, I'm 6 feet tall and that's mine. Do you have something to say about it? And I was like, yes, I love her. Thank you for taking the time to read my comments. I wasn't expecting that much love. Well, that's the beauty of the War Room. This is what we do. We get together every week so you guys can ask me questions so that we can talk about whatever's going on. This is the whole point. There are people that do the ask me anythings on Reddit or they do them on, TikTok or Twitter or whatever. We do it on Facebook and Instagram and Twitch and YouTube simultaneously. So Tracy says Jason is everyone's spirit animal. Yeah, it's kind of hilarious. Bish says, Carrie, Jason and Travis would outdrink all of us. I 100% agree, but that would be a fun party. And I partied with Seven Dust in 1999. Okay, I can hold my own. Trust me. Let's see. She constantly calls Jason a jackass. Well, yeah, that's what sister-in-laws do. Taylor Swift was at the Kenny Chesney concert at Gillette this past Sunday. She was? So was that drunk cop from Rhode Island that peed on the girl's boots. Hilarious. Still funny. I feel bad for the girl in her boots, but yeah, kind of crazy. All right, so we got a bunch of stuff to talk about. As you guys will notice, Wednesday's already gone. Labor Day weekend is coming up this weekend, which means we're not too far away from fall foliage. So I want to remind you guys that this Mistress Carrie deal is only good for the rest of the summer. If you have ever wanted to try skydiving, now that the temperatures are cooling off a little bit, the leaves are going to start changing colors. If you have ever wanted to try skydiving, or if someone's having a birthday, an anniversary, if you want to, congratulations on starting college gift, like whatever it is, you can go to jumptown.com. You can book a tandem skydive, use the code Mistress Carrie, and you'll get $40 off your tandem skydive. So take advantage of that Mistress Carrie deal if you can. If you are new to the War Room and you are wondering where you can find me on the radio, you can actually find me in a lot of places, including Charleston's Best Rock, 98 Rock in Charleston, South Carolina. You can hear me every weekday from 10 to 3. You can go to my98rock.com. You can listen to the station that way. You can download the 98 Rock app. You can listen through the app as well. 98 Rock is a good combination of new rock and classic rock together. You can listen to me every weekday afternoon from 3 to 7 on 100 FM The Pike here in Massachusetts. And that show is a little more classic. There's some newer music in there. We're obviously able to talk about New England sports and, more localized stories. But this show is a little bit more classic based. Want to remind you guys that this coming Saturday, Rockfest is happening at Indian Ranch in Webster. Gates open at 11. Music starts at noon. You could check out the whole lineup for this year's Rockfest on the events calendar at mistresscarrie.com. But I will be out there. Mike Shue's going to be out there as well. And I also want to remind you about the Mistress Carrie birthday bash that the Pike is throwing for me at the end of September. It's at Rascals in Worcester, Saturday night, September 28th, featuring the music of Rotten Apple, the unbelievable Alice in Chains tribute band, and music from Justin Jordan. These tickets are on sale now. You can click the link to buy the tickets on the event calendar at mistresscarrie.com. The show is September 28th. It's 21 plus, and it's going to be an absolute blast. So, we're throwing my own birthday party. Why the hell not? And then if you like your rock a little newer and you like it a little heavier, then you can listen to me every weekday afternoon on 1063thebone.com, 1063 The Bone in Portland, Maine. You can download the Bone app. And this show is a lot more new music, a lot more heavier music. And I'm going to be up in Portland on Wednesday night, December 11th for the Deck the Halls with Daughtry holiday show. It's also going to feature Sleep Theory and Devour the Day, who were just on the podcast a few weeks ago. These tickets are on sale now, and the link to get the tickets and the details are also on the events calendar at mistresscarrie.com. And then I am part of the Westwood One Rock Network on stations all around the country, but these are the shows that you can listen to every weekday. So if you are new to the show, every week here in the War Room, since it's Cocktails in the War Room, we take some of the bartender books and we sift through them and we try to come up with cocktail recipes to help up your mixology game a little bit, help you use that dusty bottle of booze in the back of the bar. Whatever it is, we just, we like to talk about booze. We like to drink booze, all things booze. We like to do all of those things. So this week's drink would get the Kelsey brothers drunk. Let's put it that way. Between the Sheets, it's called. An ounce of brandy, an ounce of white rum, an ounce of Cointreau, and an ounce of fresh lemon juice, a half an ounce of the Gome syrup that we've talked about before. Shake the ingredients, strain into a martini glass, and serve. Now, it does not give any kind of garnish whatsoever, but obviously if you're going to add fresh lemon juice, you could garnish with a lemon wedge. Totally fine. You could probably do like a lemon sugar rim if you wanted to. But when you have a drink that is equal parts, sorry, there's like a hair on my mic stand. When you have a drink that's equal parts brandy, rum, and Cointreau, yeah, you are going to end up between the sheets. I just hope you know the people that are going to be there with you. So there you go. That's your drink this week. I want to let you know who's on the podcast this week. So first, we have to talk about last week's episode. Scott Anderson from Finger 11 was my guest last week on episode 220. As a reminder, new full-length episodes of the podcast come out every Wednesday. And we've had a new episode come out every Wednesday since we launched the podcast back in June of 2020. So episode 220. And talking to Scott Anderson about Finger 11's new chapter, the new record deal, the new music, touring with Creed and Three Doors Down. Hold on. Somebody's commenting something that I want to answer in a second. So just talking about Scott Anderson was really candid talking about the ups and downs of Finger Eleven's career, having massive #1 hit songs and then losing their record deal and having to rebuild their career and doing it with the same band members, people that he's been friends with since junior high school. And now all these years later, to go back to what we were talking about, where Creed is celebrating the 25th anniversary of Human Clay, and the guys in Three Doors Down are getting ready to come out with a new album next year. And these bands that came out in the 90s are now bigger than ever. Scott Anderson is so excited about the future of the band, about the music that they're making now, that they have a team of people that are representing them that are really excited about the musical direction that they're taking the band. He's just really happy and excited about what's going on. And that makes me really happy because Finger Eleven is a band that has a lot more hits than you think they do. Then you go see them live and you go, holy shit, I forgot about that song. Oh man, I forgot about that song. Sean says, any insight on Lollapalooza New England this year? Do you think it would be good? To my knowledge, they're not bringing Lollapalooza to New England. To my knowledge, Lollapalooza is an international festival, and the United States dates are the first weekend in August in Chicago every year. But did you hear something I didn't hear about them taking Lollapalooza back on the road? They are going to take Mayhem Fest back on the road next year as a touring festival. But Elsa says about the cocktail this week, yes, please. I would totally try that. Jessica says that drink sounds delicious and trouble in a glass. The secret sangria would work too. I totally agree. Tracy says I'm doing the no pants dance. Donna says I was a little late. Let's see. Creed was amazing, says Alicia. Jessica says I love Finger Eleven. I have a day set every week and it's No Pants Sunday, says Heidi. That sounds fantastic. Melissa says I am 4 episodes behind. Jessica says, is Jane's Addiction still on the road? Yes, and they're coming to Boston. I will tell you about that date coming up when I go over all of the shows that are coming through town. So let's talk about this week's episode. Episode 221 of the Mistress Carrie podcast goes live at midnight tonight. And we are welcoming somebody back that has already been on the show, and it is guitarist John Five. Now, the last time John Five was on the show, it was because he was doing a solo tour. And shortly after he was on the show, it was announced that he is the guitarist in Motley Crue. So now John Five returning to the show as the guitarist from Motley Crue, who will be at the Mohegan Sun Arena on Saturday night. And then John is doing back-to-back shows at City Winery Boston on September 1st. And he's got a few more New England gigs, September 2nd and 3rd, all of which are up on the events calendar at mistresscarrie.com. But John and I talked about a lot of stuff. We talked a lot about his pets. Wait till you hear about his pets. We talked a lot about Motley Crue, his friendship with Mick Mars. He told me his perspective of the story of telling Rob Zombie he was leaving his band. You guys will remember Nikki Sixx came on a bonus episode and told us his perspective of that whole thing. So I asked John Five about it. But we also talked about songwriting. We talked about his solo tour. We talked about guitar greats like Jeff Beck and Eddie Van Halen. We talked about a lot of stuff. So I'm really excited to welcome John Five back on the show. Episode 221 goes live at midnight tonight. As a reminder that when you subscribe to the podcast, you get the weekly episodes. You get the sit rep every Monday through Friday with all of your rock news, music headlines, entertainment updates, kind of like all of the music stuff we talk about here in the War Room. But with the sit rep, it only takes 5 minutes. And I run through all the headlines so that you know what's going on for the day. And you can get on about your day. Make your coffee, get the kids to school, get into work, sit in traffic, whatever it is that you're doing. And if you're wondering where you can subscribe to the Mistress Carrie podcast, the answer is pretty much anywhere you listen to podcasts. You can find the Mistress Carrie podcast. You can listen to all of the episodes on YouTube. And if all else fails, just go to mistresscarrie.com, click the embedded player of whatever episode you want to listen to. Every episode of the podcast is up there. Every episode of Cocktails in the War Room is up there. Every sit rep is up there. So mistresscarrie.com, the center of the universe of all things Mistress Carrie. And we're still holding strong at 149 countries that are listening to the Mistress Carrie podcast. So to everybody that has checked out the podcast so far, thank you. I will ask you guys, because the number one way that people discover podcasts is that they get recommended by someone that they are friends with or that is in their family. So I would ask that if you are friends with some guitarists, if you're friends with Motley Crue fans, that this week's episode with John 5, share it with your friends. Let people know that these interviews are out there. That's how the podcast is going to grow. And obviously, 149 countries so far, you guys have been doing a lot of sharing. So I appreciate everything that you've posted about already, the retweets, the posts on Instagram, the comments on YouTube. But keep it up, because we all hear about podcasts that we love from other people that have shared interests. And we obviously are all here in the war room because of our shared love of music. And so you've got other music friends that you are connected to on social media. And so let them know that these interviews are out there. If you're celebrating your birthday today, you're sharing it with Tony Kanal from No Doubt. You are also sharing your birthday with Glenn Matlock and Alex Lifeson from Rush. So cheers to you guys. If today's your birthday, happy unbirthday, Keith. Cheers to you. Heidi says, I've got a podcast on Spotify and iHeartRadio and Apple Music. See, there you go. My podcast is up in all of those places too. And there are a lot of podcasts out there, but there are a lot of podcasts that are pod faded, as they call it. People that started podcasts and got 10 episodes in, 20 episodes in, 50 episodes in, and stopped, but those podcasts still exist. They're just not current. Travis, who joins us here in the War Room every week, he'll tell you he's over 400 episodes now and killing it. So, yeah, you got to share the podcast that you love and help the podcasters out. Jason said WWE wrestler Sid Justice died yesterday. I saw that yesterday. I was wondering why R.I.P. Sid was trending on Twitter, and I was afraid it was Sid Wilson from Slipknot. Did you guys see that he got burned over the weekend on his farm, lighting his burn pile, and it set his face and head and arms on fire? He ended up in the ER. He singed his eyebrows. He set his hair on fire. He's got burns on his face, burns on his arms. He's going to be okay. But when I saw R.I.P. Sid, I thought that it was Sid Wilson from Slipknot. And I was like, wait, I thought they said he was going to be okay. Let's see. Donna says, happy birthday, Ryan. And Ryan says, happy unbirthday, Keith, as well. All right, so let's talk about some of these music headlines. We already kind of talked about this stuff already, that Oasis are back together and the big Linkin Park announcement is coming tomorrow. So fingers crossed that we're going to get some good news about Linkin Park. I'm really excited for those guys. A 25th anniversary celebration for a band that is destined for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It would be nice for those guys for the members of Linkin Park to be celebrated. Shows coming up at the Garden. Incubus celebrating the 23rd anniversary of Morning View. It's kind of a weird anniversary to celebrate, but Brandon Boyd and the guys, good on you for taking your party out on the road. Also, Weezer celebrating their 30th anniversary this year, the debut Blue album. They're out with the Flaming Lips and Dinosaur Jr. Jelly Roll announced his album Beautifully Broken is coming out in October. And of course, Jelly Roll's Beautifully Broken tour hitting the TD Garden. I saw online $1,000 tickets to see Jelly Roll at the Garden. Just crazy. You guys have watched. I told you. Jelly Roll was an artist to keep your eye on. I freaking told you. And I love that you guys check these artists out when they're still up and coming so that you can also be like, yeah, I knew it. They were on the Mistress Carrie podcast years ago. 21 Pilots and Jeff Lynne's ELO are also at the Garden. Don't forget the Black Keys show is canceled, and also the Aerosmith Black Crow show is canceled. That's just a reminder in case you may not have gotten a refund on your tickets yet. Silver Scream Con coming to the DCU Center September 13th through the 15th. If you heard me with Spencer Charnas a couple weeks ago on the podcast, I am going to have a booth there. So if you're going to Silver Scream Con, keep your eyes out for the Mistress Carrie booth. I ordered some new things for the display. The Mistress Carrie booth at Silver Scream Con is going to be very cool. And Iron Maiden's going to be at the DCU Center coming up in November. I believe that show is sold out. Coming to Big Night Live in Boston next month. The Warning, Coal Chamber, this is postponed. I thought that I put that up there. Coal Chamber's postponed to May 30th of next year. Des Fafara on doctor's ordered bed rest. This date has been adjusted on the concert calendar at mistresscarrie.com. I don't know. Let me drink for a mistake on the screen. But it already has been corrected on the concert calendar on the website. Dirty Honey's going to be there on my birthday at Big Night Live. Asking Alexandria, Palais Royale, and Marvelous 3 and Lit are all headed to Big Night Live, which is at the Garden in downtown Boston, in case you didn't know. The shows at the Xfinity Center are starting to wind down. Remember the beginning of the year, the list of shows was like this long? That's how you know we're getting close to Labor Day weekend. Live and STP are going to be there September 5th. Alice Cooper and Rob Zombie on September 6th. And then Korn on September 21st with Gojira, which I cannot wait for. And if you missed it, Head from Korn was chiming in the comments here in the War Room earlier today. You never know who's going to pop in the War Room. Let's see. What else is going on that I wanted to tell you guys about? Motley Crue is going to be at the Mohegan Sun Arena this weekend. So obviously John 5 and I talk about it on this week's podcast episode. Sevendust up in Hampton Beach in the middle of September, except on their 50th anniversary celebration tour, a bunch of dates in New England in September. These guys are in tour rehearsals right now. Adrian Belew, Steve Vai, Danny Carey. These guys are going out on the Beat tour, and they have got multiple dates in New England, not just the one at the Schubert, but a bunch of dates. Duran Duran's going to be at the Mohegan Sun Arena and at the SNHU Arena, and Godsmack, Nothing More, and Flat Black will be at Mohegan at the end of October. Alicia wants to know, Carrie, do you have tickets for Ice 9 to give away? Not right now. Could I get some? Possibly. But as of right now, I don't have tickets for Ice 9 Kills to give away. Let's see. Michelle says that today is Keith's birthday too. Well, Keith, happy birthday to you too. God, this is a popular time of year. Everybody's parents were horny 9 months ago. Which, by the way, was right around the holidays. If you haven't caught on. I was notified I was conceived on New Year's Eve by my parents. My birthday is October 1st. I was a few days late, but you can do the math. Hearing the story of your own conception is traumatizing, to say the least. All right, a few more shows I want to tell you guys about. Patrick says, I love Sevendust. Heard them first on AAF when you were a DJ. Well, listen, their second record, Home, just celebrated its 25th anniversary, and I was there almost every day of the recording of that record. To this day, it's one of my favorite albums of all time, and I can't believe it literally turned 25 like 3 days ago, which is crazy. Leader Bank Pavilion, Falling in Reverse, Dance Gavin Dance, Black Veil Brides, and Tech 9 coming up September 9th. And you were asking earlier, is Jane's Addiction still out on the road? Yes, with Dave Navarro, the original lineup from 34 years ago, and they're going to be at Leader Bank Pavilion on September 13th. The link to get the tickets is on the concert calendar at mistresscarrie.com. The final rock shows at Fenway are coming up in September, just a few weeks away from Pearl Jam back-to-back shows at Fenway. And the Palladium's got a bunch of shows coming up, including Set It Off New Year's Day, From Ashes to New. That's October 27th. The NoFX finale tour is this weekend at Campanelli Stadium in Brockton. The New England Metal and Hardcore Festival is September 21st and 22nd. And the Ice 9 Kills show that we were just talking about is the Palladium outdoors with Ice 9 Kills, In This Moment, Avatar, and TX2. And that is the Saturday night of the Silver Scream Con And all of those tickets are on sale right now. But that's going to be a crazy show outdoors at the Palladium. Roadrunner in Brighton has got Kaleo, The Hive, Skillet, and Seether. By the way, this show is the night the Seether album goes on sale. Its release date for Seether. Also, Tim Montana and Royal Lynn are on this lineup as well. The Red Clay Strays, who opened up for the Stones at Gillette this year, they're going to be at Roadrunner October 5th. Dayseeker is going to be there October 11th and Rise Against on October 24th. Christine says, my son's birthday is October 1st as well. It's because he has the best birthday of the year, which starts the best month of the year. October 1st, Halloween, every day in between. October's the best. MGM Music Hall at Fenway, Kings of Leon, 2 dates. The Sisters of Mercy, Queens of the Stone Age. They postponed all of their headlining dates for till 2025 and canceled all of their festival appearances for the rest of the year. They made this announcement on Friday. So these 2 Queens of the Stone Age shows, they have not rescheduled them yet. They're waiting for Josh Homme to get some kind of news from the doctor. He had surgery. He needs medical treatment. We don't know why. But they said that he needs to be under doctor supervision and that he can't do these tour dates, but they're going to schedule them next year. And also Sting is going to be at the MGM Music Hall at Fenway as well. Michelle says Sunday was our 29th anniversary. You guys got me by 25 years because me and Mr. C's wedding anniversary is Thursday. 4 years. And you guys were there for all of it. You guys found out before anybody else that I got engaged, that I got married 13 days later. You guys knew about the wedding. You saw pictures of the wedding before anybody else. It just goes to show you how much stuff we've actually gone through here in the War Room, that my 4th wedding anniversary is this Thursday, which, crazy. So happy 29th anniversary. House of Blues, Bad Flower, Rival Sons and Clutch, Airborne Toxic Event, Blues Traveler, Hatebreed, Testament, Theory of a Dead Man. This is their Unplugged tour. And also Steel Panther, all going to the House of Blues. Let's see. Paradise Rock Club's got the Lemonheads back together for 2 shows. Duff McKagan in November and Guar in November as well. And at City Winery Boston, I was telling you guys about John 5 from Motley Crue. So he's literally leaving Mohegan Sun and the Motley Crue guys that night, going to Boston, going to bed, and then he's got a matinee show and a night show at City Winery on September 1st. And then Richie Kotzen is going to be at City Winery Boston October 15th. Christine says, holy crap, 4 years already. I know. It's crazy. It'll be almost 8 years that we've been together, but 4 years married. And it is crazy fast, Dina. I totally agree with you. Michelle says, congratulations to you and Mr. C. Thank you. Heidi says, happy 4th anniversary, MC and Mr. C. Here's to many more blessed years together. Thank you. Elsa says, my 6-year wedding anniversary is going to be in October. That is fantastic. Yeah, it's crazy how fast things have gone. But I mean, you know, the sign off of AAF was 4.5 years ago. So the time has passed for sure. Michelle says, what did you think of the tattooed guy doing all the sign language at Disturbed? Look, I think, and we talked about it, with the Paralympics and all of that last week, and with Coldplay and all of the different things that they're doing to make their shows more accessible. I love seeing a tattooed sign language interpreter. I love seeing accommodations made for people in wheelchairs at concerts. When you see a guy in a wheelchair getting hoisted up in the mosh pit at a metal show, or somebody raising a crutch, or when somebody falls down and the crowd spreads out to make sure that they're okay, it gives me faith in humanity, especially with the rock and metal community leading the charge for the everyone is welcome, everyone has a place here mentality. And so, yeah, if there are deaf people that want to be at a Disturbed show and there's a tattooed guy doing sign language, fucking A right. I'm all about it. Absolutely. Carol says, my 9th anniversary was last month. Let's see. Stacy says we jumped timelines or something. It's not normal. Yeah, I don't know what's going on either. But you guys' comments are always a little bit delayed anyway. So let me finish up some of these shows, reminders of things that are going on. The stage at Suffolk Downs, nothing new to report there, but I will keep you guys posted because that venue has all been redone. New music out this Friday. Lamb of God's Ashes of the Wake, the 20th anniversary edition is out. Love and Rockets releasing So Alive remixes. Oasis's Definitely Maybe 30th anniversary deluxe edition is out this Friday. So, of course, they announced their reunion today. And U2's Zoo TV Live in Dublin 93 EP, that is out on Friday. And did you guys see that they recorded the U2 UV Achtung Baby Live residency at the Sphere, made it into a concert film, and it is going to start showing September 5th at the Sphere in Vegas. So if you're going to Vegas, and if you're a fan of U2 and you weren't able to go and actually see the show, they made it into a concert film. And you can only watch it at the Sphere because, well, the screen is all around you. So they just announced that it debuts. Oh, and there was one more movie thing that I wanted to tell you guys about because I thought it was such a cool idea. It's called Silence Synced. I've been talking a lot about it on the radio. Basically, the idea is to take an old silent black and white movie and give it a modern music soundtrack and then put it in a theater so you can watch the old silent film with modern music instead of the piano player like they used to have in the theaters back in the 20s. They took 2 Radiohead albums and made it the soundtrack for the 1922 black and white classic Nosferatu. It's the first time Silent Synced is doing it. They're premiering it at the end of September in Los Angeles, and it hits theaters around the country. You're going to have to hunt it to find it on October 4th, but you can go to Silence Synced, and it's not silence, it's silent with a T-S, plural silent, and synced.com. And I thought it was a really cool idea. I would love to go see Nosferatu with Radiohead music. Are you kidding me? It's freaking amazing. All right, mail call for anybody that's new to the show. Whenever anybody sends me anything weird, this is the point of the show where we open it up, but nothing came in the mail this week. So that's the address if you need to send me something. And sorry, Wednesday, no mail call this week. You can stay where you're at in the other room. I can see you eyeballing me right now. Want to remind you guys that you guys are running out of time. We are running out of tank tops. Sun's out, guns out. Labor Day weekend is coming up fast. So if you want the Mistress Carrie tank tops, they come in black and white, men's and women's, devil horns on the front, Mistress Carrie logo on the back. Some sizes are already out of stock, and these are selling out quickly. I am going to have them at Rockfest this weekend at Indian Ranch, but they're almost gone. So if you want one of these tank tops, they are not going to get restocked until spring. You want to grab them now. So order them right now. Go to mistresscarrie.com and shop in the store and order them before they are absolutely gone. All right, want to remind you about the Mistress Carrie Backstage Passes. Every month we get together for a live stream. Guys, I know I need to schedule this live stream. Then I know the end of the month is coming, so keep your eyes on Patreon. I'm going to let you guys know when that is. You can also find out who's on the podcast before anybody else, so you can submit questions. When I travel, which I'm going to be doing once or twice before the end of the year, I take you with me, tell you where to eat, tell you what I've seen, exclusive photos, all of that stuff. Early access to event ticket and information, and access to exclusive concert ticket giveaways. So if you have a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass, right now you have access to Rob Zombie and Alice Cooper tickets, to Falling in Reverse tickets, and to Megadeth tickets. And you also get merch discount codes to new merch items in the online store as well. Let's see. Heidi says, Carrie, you never posted the picture of the purple glowing skulls that you got. I really want to see it. I took it. Hold on. I didn't post it, but I can show it to you right now if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it really quick. They look so cool. And they are going to be part of my Halloween decor for sure. Let me see if I can find that picture real quick, because I did take it. I told you guys that I would. I put it up in Patreon. But I did. Oh, here we go. That's what it looks like. Hold on. I took a video too. That they blink. I did take it. See? Dated July 31st. I told you, I promised you I would take it. I just didn't show it to you guys. They're awesome. They only stay lit for about 4 hours though. So they light up as soon as the sun goes down. They stay lit for about 4 hours because they're completely solar powered, but they look so cool. So yes, once again, they're amazing. I absolutely love them. Yeah, they're absolutely badass. Carol says the Red Sox won 6-3. That is fantastic. Did you see the rockin' skeletons they have at Home Depot? No, I have not gone to add to my Halloween decor shopping yet because I can't be trusted. But you guys know how much I love that shit. Calling the aliens. Yes, they are awesome, says Jessica. All right, I want to remind you guys real quick where you can find me. I am on Instagram. You know where I am on Facebook. You know where I am on YouTube, or you know where I am on Twitch. But you can also find me on Twitter, on Threads, TikTok, Cameo. You can find me there. You can also find the Mistress Carrie podcast on Instagram and Twitch. And obviously, if you download the Pike app, the Bone app, the 98 Rock app, you can find me there. You can stream the shows there. All of the links for everything are at mistresscarrie.com. So if you're going to remember one place to go, all the social links, all of that stuff, just go to mistresscarrie.com. You can also join the Mistress Carrie Veterans Rock group on Facebook. Guys, this has got over 1,500 members now, which is unbelievable that this group is growing that much. Every week, new people are joining this group. And I posted about Jelly Roll's Beautifully Broken album, and somebody sent me a message and said, this group is only supposed to be about veteran stuff. You're posting about music. Jelly Roll came out and said that Beautifully Broken is available for pre-order on his website right now, jellyroll615.com. Every copy of the new Jelly Roll album that people order before it gets released, they are donating the proceeds to 4 different charities, and the Wounded Warrior Project is one of those charities, which is why I posted about Jelly Roll in the Veterans Rock veteran group, because he's donating a portion of the proceeds to the Wounded Warrior Project, which I thought was really, really cool. Heidi says that skeleton is an unsupervised purchase. Exactly. Let's see. Michelle says, I love the picture. I have been seeing what people have been doing with their skeletons. Oh my God, too damn funny. I totally agree. I would leave Fezzik up, my giant skeleton, all year long, but he would not withstand the harsh winters in New England. The people that live in places where they can keep the skeleton up all the time, so cool. And that they dress him up for like Valentine's Day, dress him up as a leprechaun in March. Like, I love that stuff. Will says, have a great Labor Day weekend. Guys, I can't believe it's Labor Day weekend already. I really can. Tomorrow, the forecast looks like the last time we're going to be in the 80s for a while. Unless we have a heat wave in September or October, we might have seen our last of the mid 80s temperatures in New England. I can't believe it's Labor Day weekend already. It's nuts. Jonathan says, there have been a few times that the link for the playlist isn't in the description on Spotify, but when I go to your site, it's always there. It's really weird how the links copy over to the different podcast outlets. Because Apple does it differently from Spotify. They both do it differently from iHeart and Pandora. Sometimes if I make a correction, sometimes the corrections don't copy over, but the playlist is always updated on the podcast episode on my website. So if for some reason you ever find an error, please let me know. Hit the message the studio button at mistresscarrie.com. But yeah, if for some reason it's not linked on Spotify or whatever, you can always find those playlists there. Because I put them up there. I go through the trouble of making them. So I want you to be able to check them out. Trina says, did you see the skeletons riding the flamingos? So Lemonster. I have not seen that yet, but yes, it is very Lemonster, 100%. As a runner, I love the no humidity runs, 100%. Like this past weekend, I had friends here from out of town, skydiving friends that were staying at the house, and they came from down south, and they were like, oh my God, there's no humidity. This is beautiful. And I was like, yeah, this is why we put up with the snow. Because it's so freaking beautiful. 100% beautiful. Christine says, same here down in Florida. Melissa, it's funny that you bring up the drumsticks. I got a text message over the weekend from the guys in Vader. So here's been the holdup, because I literally got an update over the weekend. So thank you for reminding me to give you the update. They are having a problem with my font. It is not printing properly on the drumsticks. And the art department at Vader Percussion, who's designing my drumsticks, are ready to kill me. And that has been the holdup. So I got a message from Brando, who's been on the show, saying, I know you want these drumsticks. We're having issues and this is what's going on. So thank you for the reminder, because over the weekend I was like, I got to make sure I tell everybody in the war room, and I totally spaced. So they're working on it. It's a font artwork problem right now, believe it or not. I don't know why. I don't know. Jonathan says, we appreciate all your hard work. Thank you. Donna says, I couldn't find a couple of the episodes on Pandora, so I listened on Spotify instead. When you're dealing with multiple platforms, there are always going to be glitches. The platforms like Pandora are supposed to constantly be refreshing from my host. So it should be able to correct itself eventually. But if it doesn't, that's why I'm always telling you guys all the other places that you can listen to the podcast. And the fastest growing place is YouTube. And I don't even release the videos. Right now, I'm only releasing the audio, but so many more people are starting to listen to podcasts. Just listen on YouTube, because they spend so much other time on YouTube. There's so many people that rely on YouTube for television that they just kind of find podcasts that way. And they listen to stuff on YouTube while they're working on company computers where other podcast outlets might be firewalled. And so many more people are starting to listen on YouTube. I can always tell certain episodes kind of hit the algorithm on YouTube, and then I see all thousands of listens. And then some don't get that many, but the listens come on Apple or iHeart or wherever. It depends on the artist. It depends on the fan base. It depends on what platform they like better. That's why I put it everywhere, so that everybody can find it. Bish says, got to make it smaller. That's what she said. Glitch in the system, says Christine. Got some accessories and upgrades for the Skelly coming, says Melissa. What? Can't wait. Donna says, can't wait. I can't wait. I know. I can't wait either. All right, guys, that's it this week. Thank you for hanging out with me in the war room. Please have a very happy and safe Labor Day weekend. For all of the parents that are sending their kids back to school, congratulations to finally having a quiet house. And to all of the empty nesters that are moving their kids to college and getting their house back, congratulations to not having to wear pants. Cheers to you. Yeah. All right, I'll see you guys this weekend at Rockfest. And I'll see you in September next week. Good night, guys. Bye.